When you say President Tinubu has allowed political parties to thrive, my question, Daniel, in which country are you referring to? Which country exactly?
I'm referring to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that is the strongest black population in the world. I'm referring to the country where President Bola Tinubu sits as the president. I'm referring to that country.
Okay, hold on, Daniel, hold on. Okay. In the neck of the wood where I come from, we have a saying that if the juju cannot help me, just leave me the way I am. Correct. So nobody expects President Tinubu, a member of the APC, to help PDP or Labour or...
You cannot say nobody.
No, just hold on. Nobody expects him to do that. I mean, I'm informed.
No, you don't expect.
Okay, I don't expect
him. But they are expecting.
Hold on. I don't expect him to help any political party. AC, whatever.
Yes.
But at the same time, don't destabilize them. Can you say in all conscience, I know you to be a brother in Christ. Yeah. Not just a brother in Christ. I know you.
Yeah.
Daniel, between you and that God here, can you of a truth say that the ruling party, let me remove President Tinubu, the ruling party is not involved in the active destabilization of the PDP, ADC, Labour Party, SDP now, and then the list goes on?
So let me ask you.
Yes.
I'm sure wherever you are, you have a neighbor. And the neighbor wishes to have a better life than you. That's the natural spirit to come to. Dude, no matter what they do, can they destabilize your house if your house is one?
They may try.
They may try. But can they?
They can.
Give me the reason why they can.
We're not at home now. They could scale the fence and set the place on fire.
Good point. We are not at home. The politicians are not at home.
This is Naija Unfiltered on SYMFONI TV. My name is Olawale Oluwade. And my guest this morning is Barrister Daniel Bwala, Special Advisor to the President on Media and Policy Communications. Barrister, nice to have you on the show once again.
Thank you. Thank you. This is my second time.
Yes. Third time.
The third time, actually.
Second
yes, second here, third time, yeah. And I must say that you are doing a great job in the sense that your style of journalism is very difficult for somebody to say you have a bias to anybody. You give it to everybody equally, fact check everybody equally. I think that is what in a real-time journalism ought to be, because I will say this. In America, they came up, I think it was Harvard, came up with this they call opposition-style journalism. Opposition-style journalism is where the journalist plays the role of the opposition. Now, if election is over and it is just governance, yes, you can play the role of the Nigerian people mirroring, interrogating government. When election comes close, remember, it is Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U, and the rest. The referee cannot afford be doing the job of Arsenal on Chelsea. The same way you fact check, you fact. If there is a strong case, Arsenal is ours, let them come and defend it. And I think that most of our people, especially because you have allowed in your recent evolution in Nigerian journalism space, you have allowed a lot of people who are not journalists, just because they carve a niche in radio, and with the advent of social media, you follow ratings and views. Somebody who is known as a propaganda, or somebody who pushes hate and vitriol, and therefore has gathered a lot of viewership, because controversy brings viewership. Then news houses, they will now say this person will be good. And when you bring him, he continues what he's doing. So I think that there needs to be more to be done for the Nigerian people to understand that journalists' role is to mirror society, but also to allow, if two parties are fighting, let them make their case and not journalists making the case for them.
Thank you. And thank you for the compliments. Now, let's get right into our conversation. It's 3 years now since President Tinubu was sworn in, May 29th. Yeah. Exactly 3 years. So give us an assessment specifically on 3 issues. Security, the economy, and democratic values. So
let me start with the democratic values. And once again, thank you and thank the viewers for listening. What the presidency of President Bola Tinubu has established is, one, that every political party is allowed to thrive. People can have their own subjective interpretation because they are unable to market their product. Then you now think that your neighbor is doing charm. That's the reason why you're not selling. But President Bola Tinubu has fostered democratic values in Nigeria: free speech, freedom of the press, administration of justice, intelligence sharing, some of those basic elements that strengthens democracy. We are not lacking in any of that in Nigeria. That's why, if you have noticed, more civil society people have risen in his administration, challenging government every day, than in other administration, they would have been locked up. Most of these other ones that have had run-ins with, state security architecture, if you probe further, either they run foul of the law in terms of saying something that is contrary to the law, because the fact that it's a free speech does not mean you can then break the law. If the law states that you cannot defame the character of somebody, and you do that. So that there for democracy, and then you see the thriving of political parties, political activities, and our interrelationship with the world. Nigeria has been opened more in the administration of President Bola Tinubu. You are seeing his engagement around the world. We have never had, for example, I would jump to security, cooperation with the United States security-wise than now. When it started on a rough start. The mastery of President Bola Tinubu to manage it is what you must celebrate. Because otherwise the relationship would have gone far, far south. But the way he mastered it, from starting on a rough side to both of us on the table. You see yesterday, Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, before the Congress, when he was talking, he said on Nigeria that there have been these challenges, but they have strengthened relationship and joint cooperation and military ties with Nigeria, which he said is working and will continue to work. We also know that the peculiarity of Nigeria, which is different from other countries of the world, where certain dynamics are not in existence. Here in Nigeria, you see that Nigeria, we share border with Chad, Cameroon. You go the other side, we have close to 5-6 countries that we share border with. Especially from the northwest side right down to the northeast. These are places where it borders the Sahel. There is a report that Sahel now constitutes 51% of the global terrorism-related death, and it has now become the epicenter of global terrorism. Yesterday, I read a report where I have not verified, where they said there was this interception of communication between ISWAP and ISIS, where they were complaining that the Americans kill some of their leaders here and that they should manage how they move their people to the Sahel area. This is what we are being challenged. Now, the challenges we are facing, even if it were America that is bordering countries like that with this kind of terrorism, they are going to be having everyday affair. Free as they are, you have seen that last month there were 2 successive attempts at the President of the United States within the period of 2 weeks. Security challenge is global. How we are managing it is what we want to be judged by. So security-wise, somebody might say because of the recent incessant attacks, killings, kidnap, and the rest, one can be carried away into thinking as if we are not doing anything. That's why 2 days ago on Arise TV, I had to bring out facts about, in the month of May, the successes we have made. Over 300 and something terrorism-related killings. The rescue of people. We talk about kidnap, but we don't talk about the rescue. And we have seen the rescue of individuals. We're doing that still with the limited number of personnel in the security sector. That's why the president now has stamped his feet. SSS recruit, army recruit, civil defense recruit, police recruit. Let's increase the number of personnel and then do the training as well and equipping them so we can match the current challenge. Because the challenge now is like, it's hydra-headed. It's in every part. We used to have attack from one side at a time. Either we see Bakassi problem that time, or you see, in those days, it's not even IPOB, I forgot the name, but attack, or Masob. Or you see what now in every part of the country, the challenge is coming. So if you compare the challenge we are facing with what we are doing, you can only commend the effort. There is one more thing I'll say on security, because you asked me to respond to all of them. And this is very important, that we can play politics on economy. We can play politics on democracy, whether we are strengthening democracy. When it comes to security, the last thing you can do is to politicize security. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, the opposition are politicizing security. So, because for you to be able to join forces and fight the enemy, you have to galvanize a national consensus. When you have a number of political parties and players who wish that more of this evil happen to the country so they can demarcate the government, then you see that the challenge will be daunting. But yet, we keep urging Nigerians, cooperate with government, be patient. We feel the president in the last 1-2 weeks, you need to have seen him to know how he feels about the recent event, especially the one in Oyo. And that's why he sent that delegation to go assess the situation. and then come back to me. Part of the recommendation, part of the request by the communities is that they ask for the establishment of a military base there. And the president is thinking about it. And this is how we'll look at all those other spots across Nigeria. He didn't specially send a delegation to Oyo State. He has done the same with, with Benue. He has done the same with Jos. Go assess the situation and let's take, on one occasion he even sent the service chiefs. We are working day and night. Our security are overstretched. But yet, with the right mind and then collaboration of the Nigerian people, we will put this thing behind us, God willing. With respect to the economy, I think that now, even media houses, when we go, they no longer want to talk more about the economy because they can accept the facts. I was with Charles the same. He was even reiterating our numbers. Then he said all of these things are macro, that his challenge is the micro. And then I told him, foundation has to be macro. I have never seen any micro impact without the fundamentals of the macro. So the growth might be slow. And I said yesterday, I will not argue if you say the growth is slow. Why? The population is large, with the resources is not enough to match that. So the growth will be slow, but certainly it will be consistent, it will be steady. So 3 years down the line, we have come out of the most precarious economic situation that we've been in. Could have been tougher and bad for Nigeria, and now we're on the path to recovery. So far, so good, but we can do better. We can improve in areas we need to improve. We will take action in areas in which we got feedback from the Nigerian people that action should be taken. And we also accept the criticism of the opponent. I mean, that's how democracy is developed. And then we'll see how we move from there. But we're the better option as compared to anyone so far in the field.
Well, Nigerians will have one or two things to say about what you just said now has been the better option. Let me take you on democratic practice. I would concede to you. I mean, I've been in the media space now forever, as it were,
Yeah.
First being an analyst before now becoming a player myself. And I will concede to the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu that there is some level of, freedom to practice our trade, Unlike under Buhari, at least a couple of media houses were either slammed with fines through the NBC, or a couple of journalists were actually arrested and all of that. But it's not been so. I can consider. But when you say President Tinubu has allowed political parties to thrive, my question, Daniel, in which country are you referring to? Which country?
I'm referring to the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that is the strongest black population in the world. I'm referring to the country where President Bola Tinubu sits as the president. I'm referring to that country where you and I are resident and citizen of. And let me tell you why I said that. You see, whenever somebody sees the crisis in the political party and the allegation, albeit not substantiated, by the opposition parties, they will say it is the governing party responsible. You see, the psychic of, unfortunately, the politicians is that they are thinking President Bola Tinubu, who sits as the president, but also a member of a political party, should strengthen them. The strengthening of political parties is a self-regulated thing.
Daniel, hold on. Okay. In the neck of the wood where I come from, we have a saying that if the juju cannot help me, just leave me the way I am.
Correct.
So nobody expects President Tinubu, a member of the APC, to help PDP or Labour or ADC.
Nobody.
No, just hold on. Nobody expects him to do that. I mean, I'm informed.
No, you don't expect.
Okay, I don't expect him
to.
Hold on. I don't expect him to help any political party, AC, whatever.
Yes.
But at the same time, don't destabilize them. Can you say in all conscience, I know you to be a brother in Christ, not just a brother in Christ. I know you.
Yeah.
Daniel, between you and God here, can you, of a truth, say that the ruling party, let me remove President Tinubu, the ruling party is not involved in the active destabilization of the PDP, ADC, Labour Party, SDP now, and then the list goes on? Can you say this?
Let me ask you.
Yes.
I'm sure wherever you have a neighbor.
Absolutely.
And the neighbor wish to have a better life than you. That's the natural spirit to come to. Dude, no matter what they do, can they destabilize your house if your house is one?
They may try.
They may try. But can they?
They can.
Give me the reason why they can.
We're not at home now. They could scale the fence and set the place on fire.
We are not at home. The politicians are not at home. they have not been able to put their house in order. Let me tell you, it's as in football and all other aspects, even in school, among students and pupils. If you look at the life, and I want to throw that back to you in all good conscience. If you look at these political parties, look at the antecedent, because right now, our own defense is what they are doing in the media. You have interviewed quite a couple of them. You see these heavy allegations they are bringing against each other. Now, if not because they have been exposed, you would have thought this is a marriage made in heaven that was sent as Messiah to the Nigerian people. But you see how they are confessing. Did you hear what Babachir Lawal said about one of the candidates? That's a threat to national security. Did you hear what Ken Okonkwo said about Peter Obi? There is one other member of their group who came to TV and said that these people came together, that they knew they are not going to win election, but they are in it to make money. I'm not talking about APC saying, amongst them, are you saying that Tinubu went and called those people? That's why you said, if we are not at home. Then the question is, if you are at home, can they? And the idea behind we are not at home is that capacity to resist them is not there. That's why they can come and stay. When you are at home, you defend that. And two things are involved in you defending your home. One, to ensure that the home is compact, and two, to form a formidable force against aggressors. So, with what you are hearing among themselves saying, can you also, in all good conscience, say that these people are necessarily being attacked by Tinubu, or these people are consumed by their inordinate ambition?
Daniel, you referenced Babachir Lawal's comments he made against former VP Atiku Abubakar. Babachir Lawal made worse comments about President Bola Tinubu.
So, which now means that it is not Asiwaju that sent him to state the comment against.
Which also now means it's not correct. Also, again, some of the things he said against.
I am not here to even say whether it's correct or not. The reason, not about correctness or not correctness. Because even when you see my tweet, I say, if verified or validated, my discipline of law is far beyond forming that kind of innuendo. But the point that I said, and it bears repeating, is that this was somebody that, quote unquote, ought to have been the father of the coalition. Look at when they all started. Babachir Lawal left APC, went and supported Peter Obi. Then after that election, they now want to form coalition. He came as the Iroko from APC that has the secret of killing APC, and that he's building up a coalition. But see what he said. You see, I put it to you with all due respect. Once a community of people are consumed by inordinate ambition, they can never be coordinated, they can never be compact, they can never achieve their aim. That is the spirit and the letter of the coalition. I can contrast that with Tinubu. There was a time President Bola Tinubu was on the other side. It's not like new. When they were on the other side, what was the characteristics and antecedents of President Bola Tinubu? Gathering a consensus, building a consensus, expanding the influence of the party. And this he did not in 1 or 2 years. They have been in opposition for long. He was, in 2003, hit back. 2007, he even brought Atiku. He was trying to build party. Never for once, after he left in 2007, contested. Never once. Until by 2013, they came together as a coalition. Atiku lost the primaries. They all landed on Atiku and pleaded with him to stay with the coalition so he doesn't go away. Kwankwaso lost it. Kwankwaso stayed back. And they ensured that President Buhari, General Muhammadu Buhari, that he sits down and makes sure that all of them, their interests are put together. And they went to 2015. You can never compare that type of effort, sacrifice, because it's a sacrifice. Tinubu wanted to be vice president. Buhari did not carry him. It was easy for Tinubu to go away and scatter everything together. He looked at the common goal. PDP has to be dethroned. He conceded. You heard in that speech he made in Ogun State, he invented his frustration, but that he endured it. These people have not. Didn't you see yesterday the video where Aisha Yesufu, she stood up like that and was blasting everybody in the presence of the national chairman, whose parlor is the National Convention Center of the party? You see the way when she was talking, I didn't know. Then I heard a voice at the background that even the national chairman and everybody was there. It is not a coordinated party. Why? It is not a party of politicians. Desperados coming together. They felt like if we collect power, we can appropriate things to ourselves.
Let's leave democratic ethos. On insecurity and the economy, many Nigerians have generally come to this conclusion that the president has been largely disconnected from the realities, of the grind that Nigerians are going through. How do you respond to that?
I want to respond by first asking you. Usually when you say disconnect, that's a compound word, right? So you give particulars. In our practice of law, when you say somebody has committed an offense, you call that compound word, then you give particulars of the offense, because it will help in knowing how you arrive at that.
Does the president appreciate the trauma going through the hearts and the minds of Nigerians concerning this insecurity now?
Good. Yeah.
Because let me give you one example. The president spent 3 weeks in Lagos from before, maybe a day or two before Salah, up until yesterday when he returned to Abuja. 3 weeks. He did not visit Oyo State, the epicenter of this recent kidnap, debacle that has led to uproar all over Nigeria, protests everywhere. Daniel, I'm a Yoruba man. It bears not repeating. Lagos to Ibadan by road is 120 kilometers. The president will use a chopper, an helicopter, 15 minutes. If he was not disconnected and detached from the pains, the sufferings, even God Almighty came through his son Jesus to feel the pains of humanity. Could the president not have moved to Orire local government, Ogbomoso, just spend 20, 30 minutes, feel the pains of the people? Respond to this, my brother.
I'm glad that you gave the analogy of scripture, so I was to respond from the scripture. He sent Jesus Christ to save the world. And Jesus spent 33 years on earth. He was not everywhere. He was not everywhere. He was in one place per time. There were times on a stone throw, an incident would occur, his disciples would be the ones handling the situation. You see, what it takes to be a president, when you see these other elements wanting to be president, they don't have job now. Wake up, eat, use toothpick, then think of the next election. So they can
not be fair.
Well, what else are they doing? What else? Where does Peter Obi go every day for work?
He has his businesses.
But where does he go there every day?
I don't know, but he has his businesses. He's a successful businessman.
You can have shares.
Likewise, Atiku.
You can have shares in Apple that is worth more than the business of Tony Elumelu, and still not go out to work, right? So that's another thing. But this is the point I'm trying to derive. What if President had gone to Oyo State? Yes. The same you people, members of the media, together with the opposition, will say, you see, because it's a Yoruba land, he quickly went there. But in Jos, he only stopped at the airport. In Benue, he didn't even go there. Or he went there, but he stopped at the airport, he didn't go to Yelwata. What it takes to be a leader is also managing the emotions and sensibility of the people you govern. There are times you think as a leader and you balance situation, not because you are not passionate. And by the way, the presence, I said it on Arise, the presence of the president in Oyo or anywhere else is not as important as finding solution to the problem. True or false? Yeah. Finding solution to the problem is what, as a leader and a president of a population of over 230 million, every single one of the issues in Nigeria calls for your attention. Yeah. Everything. You have to manage emotion, create the balance, but the most important thing you will do is whether you are there or you are not there, you are handling the situation. He's the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. Any soldier you see in the forest, that soldier is there because of the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. And you know the problem we are confronted by. There's no part of Nigeria where there's no problem. So the president is in charge. He's not disconnected. And tell me a situation, an unfortunate situation, killing, kidnap, or whatever, that has taken place in any part of Nigeria in which the president did not issue a statement condemning it and then back it up by sending security forces or demanding a briefing on that or doubling down on it. Please.
Generals are expected to lead their soldiers from the front. You don't lead the soldiers from the rear. You lead from the front. in this battle against insecurity, call it whatever variant, terrorism, whatever.
It's also, so you did not say something with clarity. You brought two contradictory points. One, generals lead from the front. That term is a term that is used to say that generals make sure that they are in command of the situation. It is not literal, it's figurative. In the literal sense will mean that that general will be like the captain of the unit or major of the unit going in front of the place with gun. It's a figurative one. General lead from the front, meaning that the general must be in charge of the situation. But then, conversely, you are now trying to collaborate that with the president to now create the secondary meaning, which is that the president should have been there physically. You see how well we mix things up?
Our viewers know what I'm saying, and they know what you're saying. But
and your viewers know what you're saying. Yes. I want to submit to you with all honesty, your viewers don't know. And as a journalist, you must make it clear. See, when I go for interview, I am mindful of one thing. How I respond to questions, and this is very important because a lot of people meet me different parts. They say one of the reasons why they appreciate me is because the way I respond to issues that even the market woman will understand, somebody in the boardroom will understand. It is strategic communication. I can come to a TV house and come with Latin maxims in law and be breaking people's head to impress, and people will not know what you say. But I try to communicate in a manner using analogy, using example, even to people in sports, in boxing, so that the message can be communicated in a manner where if you don't understand in the literal sense, with the analogy you will understand. What you said, if you don't clarify, two things. Generals lead from the front, president is not there on the spot. They are two different things.
Okay, let me repeat myself for the sake of clarity. Generals lead from the forefront, meaning both practically and also in a different sense or in a deeper sense, they are fully abreast of the entirety of the realities on ground in the theater of war.
Good. So let me answer.
Let's move on.
No, we cannot move. Now with this express one, okay. Now the president fits the second one, which is abreast of the fact. Yeah. The third one he can't do because he didn't go through military training. Okay. So he can't carry gun and go there. And he's not even a general. Okay. He's commander-in-chief of the armed forces.
Okay. Let's focus on something you said earlier on, which is that, and you even referenced it earlier on in the week in one of your interviews I saw, that, because of 230 million population, that's why the resources are not enough to go around. My brother, is it that the president was not aware of Nigeria's population crisis? As we speak, Nigerians are producing babies. Mm-hmm. If there's anything that has never been affected by insecurity or poverty, it is Nigerians producing babies on a daily basis. Correct. And that's why our population is being targeted to become 450 by 2030 or something of the sort. So, was the president not aware of this before taking office?
He was aware.
He was aware. So why are we making that excuse?
You see, that's the problem. What I gave wasn't an excuse, it was an explanation. He asked me the question. The president came, and this is the third year, why are Nigerians suffering? Yes. What I gave was not an excuse. I gave an explanation. The policies that we have introduced, they are all working. The reason the impact is not felt is because of the population. I'll give you an example. Now, we introduced NELFON. 1 million people have benefited. 10 million could have benefited if there was enough resources. Do you mean if 10 million people are benefiting as against the 1 million, we would have said that we have covered 95% of the entire tertiary institutions in Nigeria? That means nobody will open mouth and say, in fact, you will say the whole Nigerian education system is financed by government. That is a classical example. It is an explanation as to why the impact is not felt. But if you say you sample those ones that have been affected by that impact, they will think what you are saying is nonsense. You will say Nigerians are not benefiting. The same, Oga, 50% on dialysis. If there were enough resources, it will be free. That means we will even extend it beyond federal medical centers to all other hospitals, including states. The same, CNG bus. Let's assume now in Lagos, in smaller part of because it's expensive. Let's say there was enough resources where it is 1 million in every state in Nigeria. We have given transportation problem. That is the explanation that the population as per the resources is what shows a slow growth. And this is what a professor of economics confirmed it. So it is not an excuse, an explanation.
Okay, Daniel, I have a lot of intellectuals, in certain groups I belong. Professors, doctors.
I call them actually.
Even family members, professors, the rector of school of anyway, all of these have said one thing in unison in some of those chat groups, that only if only the president had devoted even 25% of his time to tackling insecurity as he did or as he does to raising revenues, that would not be in this quagmire.
And
How do you respond?
the answer to the prof is simple. If he has not raised the revenues, Nigeria would have been consumed by insecurity.
So what do you do? Where is the revenue? Where are the revenues?
So in economics and in rural development. So, but you see, that is what makes a lawyer a ghost, like a spirit. It's a ikuku. In Igbo, they call it ikuku. A lawyer is bound to know a little bit of everything. That's why you can walk into my office with a medical case. I have never been to medical class, and I have to defend you. I will read as if I am a medical doctor. When I come to defend your matter and I start talking, people will think as if I have been to med school. So the way our discipline is, almost everything we must know small something. And that small that we are required to know must be one that affects the society. So let me tell you a graphic answer to the question you put. When it comes to what they call in management, like a development, either you do incremental or comprehensive. And you do that based on the problem you are confronted. If insecurity was the only problem confronting us, he would devote 70%. When the military are in power, 70% of their budget is on defense. Because now they be soldiers. When civilians come, you focus. Do you know the budget last year, majority of it is on defense, on security. Do you know 90% of the travels of the president? On security. How we go take buy weapons, how they will deepen collaboration, they will teach train our people, they will come down here. Do you know his executive acts? Even look at the architecture of employment in his government. Majority of them security. What other devotion is the prof saying? You see, talk is cheap. When we came at that time, there was not too much security problem. Because that problem during Buhari Papa was to distort the election. As soon as May 29 came, by November of that year, security went down. But what was the question at the time? Economics. So he faced economic frontally. And if he had not done that, Nigeria would have been consumed. He came, there was no money in the rivers for him to work with. Excess reserve depleted. Foreign airlines have all left Nigeria because we couldn't even, they come, their own money in our system cannot even be given to them. Investors can't get to repatriate their money. Educational system, strike everywhere. Teachers were threatening to go on strike as well. Then almost every facet of the economy when he came was like that. So he needed to do something, there is no money. The World Bank, IMF and the rest, they said, see, in all your previous government, we've been giving you people money, but you are using it to pay salaries. That's not the blueprint. We want you to invest on structure. Give us a blueprint on that. So he had to look within. Even you, as a family man, when you cannot get anything anywhere, you look within. Improvise with what you have. Then he now said, we have not generated enough revenue. This oil rack, these are fraud in the oil industry. We removed the subsidy. He did something that can be said to be magical. So that is it. But now the question you ask, so what are we doing with the revenue? Have you noticed all the places where the revenue is going? Look at the states of the federation. 27 states. By May 29, 27 states of Nigeria were bankrupt. They couldn't pay salary. Some states, 17 months, sir. Not a single state is not paying salary in Nigeria, even when he has increased minimum wage. And then the youth service corps, they increase their money. There is no facet of this economy in which the excess revenue has not touched. But it comes down to the same thing I'm telling you. If the resources is not enough to match the population, the growth will be slow. But you see what we are promising Nigerians? It may be slow and steady, but it will be consistent. We have never gone back to anything he introduced. We have never gone back and said, we're not going to pay minimum wage again because we tried and it's not working. The same thing we didn't say with the core members. We didn't go back to the issue of subsidy and the rest and say we will no longer subsidize for dialysis. Because when you carefully plan, whenever you start the move, you are not going to backtrack from it.
Let me take you up on just two issues. Okay. Because, yes, more revenues have come in because of subsidy removal into the coffers of all the three tiers of government. Fine. But the question Nigerians are asking, is that they are not feeling the impact. And let me give you two cases. Out of school children, Daniel, rather than reduce, even if it's marginally, let's not even talk about substantially, it has increased. Primary healthcare crisis directly impacting on maternal and infant mortality has not reduced, has worsened. Why has this, increased in revenue not focused on this?
Excellent question. And this question should have actually gone to the state, because if you see concurrent list and you see exclusive list and the list, residual list, you will know that when it comes to matters of primary health care, local government, chieftaincy,
sorry to interrupt you, my brother.
education.
Sorry to interrupt you. Yeah. This your response is so brilliant, and I've been waiting for somebody in government to ask me. What brought us to where we are today with this banditry and terrorism pandemic? Is this line of thinking? Is this line of thinking that maternal and infant mortality out of school children are the problems of states and local governments? Because when terrorists and bandits emerge, they don't attack citizens of the federal government.
Yes.
They attack Nigerians. Are you with me, my brother?
Yes, sir.
Can we stop this game of it is this one?
No, we cannot. It's the constitution of Nigeria.
Can we just address this issue? Why has increased revenue not been devoted to eradicating out of school problem, maternal and infant mortality?
The solution.
Let's not talk about electricity.
The solution to this does not lie with the president, but lie with you people.
We are the you people.
The media, you call the governors.
That's what I'm doing.
No, we are federal government.
Yes.
We are doing every day everything that concerns federal government. Even reaching, has the president not been giving money to states from the federal coffers, apart from allocation their own? He still keeps giving them. That's going extra mile. But I have had a lot of media people complain that with the revenue going to a state, why is it that the people are not hearing? So you want the president to call the governor and start slapping him? That's not our democracy. But if the way you interrogate federal government, interrogate state government, they will start working. That's one. But let me even answer, because there's this thing called intervention, right? Even primary healthcare and the rest, because all this primary healthcare you talked about, they are in locality in states. If you go to Federal Medical Center, there are programs for primary healthcare for the federal government people, right? But it is small compared to 36 states of the federation and the federal capital. The money for that is in those states. It is not, in fact, primary healthcare is not even state, it's even local government. But the money for the local government does not even go to them. It's stopped at the state, despite the judgment of the Supreme Court about their money. The president has urged them, begged them. You have seen, it is reported by the media. Please do more for your people. Please do this. That is the only thing. Or you want us to go back to Obasanjo days so that president will start impeaching governors? No. But if the same media, the same pressure that is put at the federal, you put on the state, it will work. But let me even tell you, let me give a counterpoint to the media as to the reason why they don't do that. You will never see a TV station focus on states for more than 1 or 2 times. You know why? 70% of their revenue comes from states. The state patronize them for documentary, paid announcement about activities of the state, projects of the governor. This is what you see when they say, let us go and make money. Media houses. So they don't want to hurt their customers. They are culpable. I say it. They are culpable.
Do you have evidence to back this up?
I just mentioned it. Is there any TV station that is not showing paid announcement of states, project of state, documentary of state, activities of the state? That's why the revenue come. We, the federal government, also patronize them, right? But the point we're saying, so they talk to us. They interrogate. Why are they not interrogating governors?
But I see them interrogate some of them.
That's it. I say they don't do more than once or twice. It is not supposed to be a one affair. It's supposed to be 3 times in a day. Because you are talking about the most essential aspect of our national life. Maternal death and they are there. Yeah. Let us come closer. If not because the Constitution gives exclusivity of the means of defense and security to the federal government. At this problem we have in those states, these banditry and the rest, where are they operating from? In state, right? Do you know the governors have security votes? Have you gone to, if you can take a documentary, go to states and begin to check whether they have cars for security that does surveillance, whether they are beefing their vigilante and paying them well, whether the police station, the state, federal government send police and the military, whether they are cooperating and giving them money. They would, in one state, they will give SSS director in that state 30 million every month, military 30 something every month, and then meanwhile the security vote is 1 billion. So where is the money going to?
One more thing before we leave this issue of insecurity. Another argument, very cogent one, why it seems the president has failed and is not, devoting enough time to tackling insecurity. That state police, you must agree with me, state police or community policing is essential, right?
Yeah.
That why has the president, because when the president wanted to pass the tax reform laws, 4 of them. He marshaled the entirety of the enormous powers of his presidency to muscle it through the entire system. You agree, right?
I agree.
Why didn't he do the same thing for making sure this National Assembly and the 2/3 of the states pass police reforms in the Constitution? Why?
Help me answer the question. What is, you say something before you say police?
Reforms.
No. What we want to create is what?
Community police.
No. State police. State.
Yes.
The states are supposed to show passion about it. As a matter of fact, state police is supposed to be the project of the state. Now, your citizens, if governors are losing election by virtue of this thing, they will rush and make some of this reform. But they feel I can always come back anywhere, any day I like it. Because any or most of this insecurity, they undermine, if it were in America, they undermine the governor and his capacity to govern his state. When you say, they will say, I'm not the commander-in-chief. Okay, they say, create your own local police. Amotekun, they created Amotekun a few years ago. Oga, where is Amotekun now? If you see some of them, I don't know, maybe they are effective, but some of them, if you see them like all this transport warders association in Motor Park. You see, it's easy to talk because creation of state police, let me tell you what it entails. You will recruit, you will train, you will pay them salary, you will buy equipment. The equipment means you are going to have police stations. And the police stations are going to be revamped with all the installations that is required. You have surveillance system. In your state, you must have closed-circuit television everywhere. Then you have community vanguard. You also fund them because state police is one, then there's the community one. If your state is in the forest, you are even supposed to have forest police that will guard the border. If you are in a maritime state, you are going to have maritime police. Lagos has some of these elements, right? The one way they get now, they struggle to pay salaries, right? They are paying salaries, but they don't do much progress. They say it's not enough. Let's say today, an act is passed, and they have created state police. Okay? Now, where did they get the money from? They will rely on Asiwaju to find ways and means of expanding our revenue in Nigeria so they can have more to work. That is the reason why Asiwaju created this reform that is expanding the revenue. Can we have some, give him some flowers, please? So this is it. But do you know that President was the one that started pushing for state police? One of the times, there was one meeting I was there when the Northeast governors came. He raised the issue. Let's start thinking about state police, what we need. If the governors, the way you talk about president pushing reform, let's assume the governors are interested. Every single governor has 3 senators in the National Assembly. Now them go pass that law. Then he has, in some cases, 9 House of Rep members. I have 3 senators, 9 House of Rep. And they are quiet. And I'm saying, President, create state police for us, please. Create state police. Come on. Let's be fair.
Anyway, because when the chips are down,
And with respect,
they don't call any of the governors, though, Daniel.
You say?
When the chips are down, as it is now,
Yeah.
who are they calling for? Is the president? Nobody's calling for the head of the
Because you
governors.
people don't want to do your
No,
job.
don't say you people. I'm doing my job here. Holding your feet to the fire. No, I understand you. I know, I understand you.
The members of the
I understand.
In America, down to the county, there is praise. So, for example, SYMFONI is here. SYMFONI will have correspondence in Maiduguri. And SYMFONI will also recruit, the correspondent in Maiduguri also recruit reporters in the hinter part, especially you choose crisis areas where frequency of this is. There are TV houses that have that infrastructure. TVC has, channels has, a lot of them have. And they do that reportage, which is okay. But what I'm saying is, it is the 4th estate of the realm in a democratic state that is built to create the agenda for the society. You see, anything government will do, it is the media that create that agenda. But are they creating? They are busy recruiting people from social media to come and be stalking up hate and vitriol in television.
That's part of our job, setting agenda. And that is why I am saying to you, a special advisor to the president, because I know if I speak to you, it gets to the ears of the president, that if I were to advise President Tinubu, from day one, I would have told him, sir, insecurity should be your number 1 priority, not tax reforms. But let's move on.
It is. That's why the defense has the highest budget.
No, having a budget is not the same thing as having a workable strategy that can be executed, implemented,
ask you, sir.
on point.
Let me ask you, sir. Do you know on the 25th of December there was a joint military strike between Nigeria and the United States?
Yes.
Do you know there have been 3 joint military strikes? It has ever happened in Africa before. To bring up the entire architecture.
How did that stop the kidnap and the massacre in all the parts of Nigeria? How?
You see? So you see, what these things people are doing, they say catch and shoot. You raise a point, but because the person is about to make a good point, and that will not be comfortable for you. You don't change. No. I am responding to what you say, workable strategy.
Yes.
Were it not for a workable strategy, would we have achieved that? Then are we being fair to the soldiers that are dying in the forest every day? They send themselves. Commander-in-chief sends them.
Okay. The last one of this, President recruited.
Let me tell you, I'm so sorry. If not because Department of State Services, especially under the leadership of Mr. Tosin, if not because he is not the type that promotes SSS being seen everywhere, report, and that's in those days. You remember during Jonathan, Olga, Mrs. Olga, you see, she even turned that SSS to a broadcast center. Now, if not because this one doesn't want to make noise, what SSS alone is achieving in Nigeria, if it is played as a documentary, maybe people will start apologizing to the president. I'm telling you, there are men in the security architecture in Nigeria today. They have not seen peace the last 3 years, so that we and I can have the time to be talking nonsense on the streets.
Okay, wait. Before we forget, just respond in like 1 or 2 minutes. The president approved 1,000 forest guards to be recruited.
Yeah.
Nigeria has a land mass of 930 kilometers per square meters. 930,000. But then we're recruiting 1,000 forest guards. Like a drop in an ocean. Can you tell me how effective?
That will be effectiveness. Now, there is effectiveness, but you have now answered. You have now seen the reason when I talk about the resources, right, as against the population. You now increase it because land mass plus population is what we are combating. You see, that is what we can afford for now. President is a planner. He doesn't, like I told you, I said he doesn't start something and back away. So whatever you do, you make sure it is sustained. That is not the end of the game. Before the 1,000 recruiting of the state forest, you remember the earlier order, 20,000 soldiers, 20,000 police, I think 10,000 or so of the SSS, civil defense, 15,000 or 20,000. There has already been, and they are recruiting, if they have not even finished recruiting, plus this additional one. If with the right resources, it will not be 1,000, it might be 5, right? But even this 1,000, with the right modern tech equipment, is enough to deal with that in those areas. Especially what we need is surveillance system, attack drones. Attack drones, you identify and eliminate.
Okay, let's switch gears. The ADC, African Democratic Congress, did a survey which was released last week. And that survey shows 73% of Nigerians disapprove of President Tinubu's performance in office.
Where were they from? These people.
And that survey wasn't just about
the executive fake meeting, everything in the parlor of my Oga and friend, the former governor of Bayelsa. You don't see what they're holding convention.
I didn't say NDC. I said ADC, African Democratic Congress.
Okay,
ADC.
the Atiku party.
No. I don't know about it. It's not Atiku party now. ADC.
He created the ADC coalition.
How do you know that?
Ran away.
How do you know that? No, don't.
I am speaking to what Peter Obi's people said that it was he created it for him to get the ticket. When they discovered, they ran away. I will never believe any finding. The reason why I don't even allow you to finish, so that Nigerians will not be misled into thinking it's anything genuine.
On INEX website, the names on INEX website: David Mark, National Chairman; Rauf Alegbeshola, National Secretary.
Yes.
And then the other names of the NWC. Atiku's name is not even there.
He is not a candidate.
He's there maybe as a candidate.
So who is the leader of the party?
So the leader of the party is David Mark. So I don't know where this your idea
of the party.
David Mark. So I don't know where this your idea of the Atiku party. The charitable. Anyway, let me make the question. So they did a survey that has 73% of Nigerians disapprove of President Tinubu's performance. You know, and it tracks. It is not just disapproval. Electoral intent. It tracks the election. If they were going to vote today,
Your Excellency,
you know,
they skewed this thing to push up a narrative so that you people will entertain the conversation. In this survey, did they show you the sample size? Did they show you the margin of error? These two elements are key in polling. I'm a researcher. You can never conclude a polling. If I want to interrogate your polling to be sure of its certainty, I will ask you to give me the sample size and margin of error and the people you polled from. If as an APC, I want to know this information and I go to only APC members, I choose a sample size of, say, 500 people, and I divide them into 36 states of the Federation and then FCT. Then I ask my boys to send questionnaires to them or even call them. What do you think about Shuaju? Because it's APC, they will all say it is Ashwaju is great. There's nothing like Ashwaju. Abi, at the end of the day, we might return a 100% or 99 or 100% impression. We'll come back to Nigerians and say, we did a polling. 100% of Nigerians are comfortable with Ashwaju. These people went to their members and drew up a polling, and they are telling you this, and you're believing it.
In your own heart of hearts.
Yes, sir.
If you take a sample opinion of Nigerians on social media, in the church, in the mosques, everyday interactions, are you not worried that President Bola Tinubu will be the second one-term president after President Jonathan?
Let me tell you, there is this thing called the silent majority. And do you know how I'm knowing about silent majority? See, few people, we didn't know until recently, few people manipulate media. You see that in America, the way it is coming out. Even push a propaganda that gives the impression of the sample size of the population. When I see on social media where Peter Obi soldiers are more, when I see the way they abuse me, if 2 a.m., if I put a tweet, you will see 200 curses because they are both accounts. You know, they are not human beings, right? So anybody who wants to now judge Bwala and stays on social media, you would think they should crucify me. But I am also a human being that walks in the street, in the marketplace, in shopping mall. What I get from obedience when we talk is different from what I see in social media. I tell you that before the God of heaven. They will say, I'm an obedient member. But you for there outside to, yeah. You see, don't allow the media, that report you see on social media, oftentimes created by both accounts, to be the reflection of people. Nigerians are Nigerians. See, if you go to church now, let's say a church, the pastor, in fact, slept with a woman and do a sample reporting on what is the impression of the people. You might be shocked. Depending on their relationship with the man, they can all say it's the work of the devil and exonerate the man. Then if they hate the man, all of them will say it is time for the man to go. But see, if you want to draw I am a researcher, right? If you want to do a polling or a survey, you can't carry out a survey. Make sure that your collection of the information should be randomly selected. So rather than determining people, throw it like that to the air. And then those people who subscribe hear them. Any report, and I say that because people will verify, any report that you do that it returns a 100% or 90% result one-sided, it is not randomly selected.
This is not 93%.
No, that one is even fake news. I'm talking of generally about this. Let them draw a polling about themselves, whether they can. The people that scatter right now, they're all over the bush on top of the tree. This man say he will go to his village and stay in the farm. Sir, we want to talk to the press and Nigerians on the situation. I don't look at this opposition. They are not serious.
Let's make progress.
Okay.
Presidential candidates have emerged. Direct competitors to your principal, President Tinubu. You have Atiku, even though we don't have his running mate yet. We have Peter Obi.
His running mate will be Rotimi Amechi.
How did you know that?
Because when they started the thing, it was like that. Now maybe Rotimi has changed his mind. He doesn't want it. That's why they are begging him. They are pushing him everywhere he is to calm him down.
So we don't know Atiku's running mates, but we know Peter Obi is Kwakwanso.
Yes.
And then Adewale Adebayo.
Who is
and
his
then
Who is his
I don't know. Omo Yeleshore is also there. We don't know.
Omo Yeleshore is the chairman of his party. He's the national treasurer. He's the secretary. I'm coming now. When election time comes, he will now step down and give somebody national chairman as presidential. When he goes and lose election, he comes back and collect the national. Is that democracy?
The law allows it.
Look at what Peter Obi did. He went and negotiated for himself and himself alone. Adoption, no primaries, no anything, which is undemocratic. Because consensus would have been people came together, they deliberated. But adoption has never been democratic. Because one despot somewhere. But do you know what he did? No, do you know what he did? For other people, that's why I say he's deceiving them. We've been telling them, not today. For other people, he said they should go and contest. All of them. You know the city where they fought from 3. Those advocate civil society that are making us like parrots every day. They all lost. All of them lost. That's why Aisha Yusufu came back where all of them are sitting, started threatening their lives.
Why are you so interested in what is going on in their party? Leave them to their own devices.
But you asked me, you put them to my face. These are the people you say they may be better than my president.
So now, we have Atiku, we have Peter Obi, we have Omoleshore, we have Adewale. Who else now? Presidential candidates. There are plenty. Anyway, so this usual suspects.
I'm glad you called them suspect. Yeah, thank you.
This
for the first time,
this juggernauts This juggernaut. Meanwhile, interestingly, majority, 95% of the candidates are all from the south.
Yeah.
Only one man standing like an Iroko
Yeah.
from the north.
He's not
Are
standing
you
like
threatened?
Iroko.
Are you
The
threatened?
man standing is not measuring the pulse of the nation.
Are you threatened in your heart? Because
I'm not. Let me tell you. I served him.
I think you are
Is there a better person that will talk about? I was a spokesman.
You are threatened.
How am I threatened? You see, why you see the large population from the southern Nigeria? Because the pulse of the country suggests the south needed at least another 4 years. There shouldn't have been anybody from the north. We have been doing this thing from 1999.
Has it produced anything substantially positive? This north-south rotation.
The one thing it will produce is what we call peace and stability in the country.
We don't have peace now. We have been doing it, we don't have peace.
So probably that one will not throw Nigeria into war. Because the thing is, look at it. I hear that narrative. Somebody was trying to tell me last week that majority of them are from the south, one from the north, therefore he will win. When was the last time he polled from the north? The northern people he will rely on to vote him are the ones with Asiwaju. Tell me one state right now, one state. He doesn't want to have a state governor.
Daniel.
He doesn't have a, I'm coming. He doesn't have a state governor. I doubt maybe he has senators, probably not more. Right? Who are the structures of the party in the state?
You know, this
Who are the agents of the party in the
This
state?
this thinking was what framed Peter Obi's contest on Labour Party in 2023. That he has no structure, he has no councillor, let alone even governor. And he polled 6.1 million votes.
Church polled 6.1 million.
And Peter Obi's staunch supporters today believe he won that election of 2023.
See, a lot of people that you call Peter Obi supporter, who we see them following him, all of them have left him, apart from me. But let me, no. But before you ask me directly, thank God when you started, you mentioned something about religion and the rest. You know the audio that leaked on the eve of election. He was speaking to one bishop when he was saying that the election was a civil war, was a religious war. It was then he said, talk to my people in Lagos and the rest. It was the church, for the fear of what the Muslim ticket might bring, they mobilize around him. But it is not Peter Obi's character and personality. That's why immediately after the election, he lost everybody because it was not an organic thing. Now, you know Valentine Ozibo.
Yes.
You know Kenneth Okonkwo. Yeah. You know those guys, the Genje TV, Mazi, those guys that coined this obedient and the rest. Who are they with? They are not with him. So he does not have organic because he runs from responsibility. I told you in your interview in different parties that he moved. Nigerians are just giving him unnecessary attention. So the idea that was a thinking and then it gave structure and then no. This election is going to be a real election. Let me ask you a question before you join, and I'm sorry that I'm asking. In your heart of heart, I know you will not answer, but I will ask the question. Do you think for the purpose of unity of Nigeria, it is appropriate that after the North did 8 years, South just did 4, did not want to collect back?
My honest answer, I don't give a damn where Nigeria's president comes from. Let him be compassionate, competent, and visionary. That's all I care about. It could come from your village, maybe Chibok, in Meduri. I don't give a damn. That's my honest response.
And you are serious about that, right? So he doesn't have those qualities.
Absolutely. But let me ask you now, let me now ask my own questions. Are you not threatened? Because if you call Atiku, that Atiku does not have anything, Atiku Abubakar, are you not threatened that Atiku is the only man? Because the bulk of the votes is from the northwestern part of Nigeria and the northeast. And Atiku is from the northeast. I've sat here with northern elites, not 5, not 6. And they've told me that they've left Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that he has failed the North. How worried are you, Daniel?
So far, the ones that I saw you interview, I don't know, it's up to 5 or so, they are aggrieved people who either from APC, they didn't get what they want. But let me tell you, I'm an order now. It's not as if because Atiku has never historically commanded more vote from the Northwest in his political career. Atiku had this nationalistic view, so his votes are spread across the nation. Because Atiku believed that, so like for example, the Igbos have the right and the rest. So he has never been a champion whose vote count will be determined by the extraction where he comes from. In 2023, he lost states in the Northeast. So we are speaking to facts, figures, and numbers, not conjecture. So Atiku in the North may not command what you're thinking. Remember, there is a concussor factor who has now joined Peter Obi. Has his influence been diminished? You see? You see? So now you're asking the question, what is his electoral value? But in 2023, he was able to retain state and the rest. I ask you the question, who is Atiku's governor and structure? You don't want to answer because he doesn't have. So you are giving him a pass. You ask me, am I not threatened? I want to give you a correct answer. The correct answer is that 2023 election was the biggest opportunity that Atiku had in his life, politically. That's why he commanded the ball. No, because there was this narrative that went everywhere that a Fulani man was going to hand over to Fulani man. So there were people even in APC that now, oh, let me connect in case he becomes president. Then Northerners, hearing that, because we have a large population of people who are out of school, like you said, so they don't have that. They may have political awareness, but they don't have so much of the analytical thinking to say this is it. So they believe it is so. And then our religious clerics in the north at the time felt that since these people are saying Muslims and Turkey is a problem, okay, we will support Muslims and Turkey. So they rally around Ashwaju. Then those who are against it, they now felt Ashwaju is not going to be carrying our own. We are going to support Atiku. There were a lot of factors. Business communities, individual thinking that, oh, since a Fulani man will hand over Atiku again, that was why he got what he got. In 2026, leading to 2027, all the state governors that deliver for him, all are not with him. That's one. You can come down to Senators' House of the members. Then the people that were with him, heavy lifters, they are with him that are no longer with him. I can count them over and over. They are not. Let me tell you this. Wazir in Adamawa, Atiku Abubakar, my former principal, and I have my respect for him till eternity. And he has been very nice and gracious to me. I have one fear. He might not even, Peter Obi might defeat him in terms of picking. That is my fear. And the other fear is that he might even come distant forward. And if that happens, what will be his legacy as a politician? That in your last attempt, that you were thrown so down the pecking line. That's why I want to urge him. Come to your friend Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Sit with him. Throw your support behind Bola Ahmed Tinubu. He has 4 years to do. And after that, you can speak about your interests, not you now, of whoever you think should be part of the process 2021. That is my fear.
I would say, and I'm sure some informed people listening will say, you are afraid. That's why you are begging him to step out. That you are afraid. But let me put this. You know, this strategy now. You know, you are thinking strategy. So don't play that card.
Don't you even not for you to think I'm afraid? Have you not seen even in my engagement? Yes. I have talked more. If I have to debunk something from the other side, I've talked more on Peter Obi than Atiku.
Okay, let's round up.
Because Peter Obi is a master of narrative, vitriol, and hate. Atiku doesn't have those capital. Maybe by his virtue of belief, he doesn't believe he should be violent and the rest. But this is the lowest moment of Atiku's political career. That is a father time.
Okay, I'm sure he and his crew are listening. Now, final question before we go. Number one, who is President Tinubu's running mate? Is that confirmed?
No, he has not decided. Okay. It can be anybody, it can be me.
Okay. Number two, so we're confirmed that Shettima's fate is undecided. Kashim Shettima's fate is undecided.
See, I have to give you a response like a mature person that know what this thing is. A president, when he wins primaries, he decides to choose his running mate. Now, if a president ran with somebody, and then another election comes and he wins the primaries, it will be very unethical for me to assume that because he won the primary, therefore they go. He still has the right to choose. And he has a very fantastic relationship with Shettima. People try to create problem here and there. He has a very good relationship with Shettima.
The last question. I understand you don't want to be presumptuous, which is fine. But where you sat is where Dr. Yusuf Baba sat and repeated what he said somewhere else and repeated it here, that the Muslim ticket of President Tinubu and Kashim has been a great fraud and has done great reputational damage to Islam. 1 minute.
My only question is that Dati Ahmed is one of the grand peddlers of fake news and lies. You remember those things he said? If Tinubu, I know.
Do you know who Dati Baba Ahmed is? Do you know him very well?
I know
his
him.
pedigree.
What is pedigree? He has a private university.
It's not that. A former senator, a PhD holder, a sound cerebral man.
All these things that he has is equated to Atiku, and yet Tinubu defeated him in 2023. What I'm saying is, he's known for saying something that is not truth. He said that there will be coup before Tinubu comes to take over power. That is part of the democracy that is strengthened. If Tinubu is not the one that allowed democracy to thrive, he should be cooling himself somewhere. Because that thing can divide a country. Around the time he said it, it shook the foundation of Nigeria, and it was a lie. Then he will say another one is a lie. Then why didn't Peter Obi carry him? Why do they do it again? Since they got highest vote and they believe in this, why they do it again? Because Peter Obi does not want somebody who will lie.
Everybody has their own lives to live. So that's what he said.
Oh, you suddenly realize?
Everybody has their own lives. They're not conjoined twins now.
Oh, so
are they conjoined twins?
Okay, so why was he carried the first time? So my response to him is that don't believe him for what he says. He's emotional. He's emotional. Most times what he says is born out of emotions. He does not project the attribute of a statesman. You know, statesmen, there are things they know. If they say it will create problem in Nigeria, they keep it to themselves. Statesmanship, that's what they call them, statesmanship. So he has not attained to the level of a statesman.
Donald Trump speaks. If you're using that parameter as a yardstick, how do you know what you know about the President Donald Trump? Who shoots from every part of the hill?
Is he a citizen of Nigeria?
No, but you're talking about statesman. Is Donald Trump not a statesman?
I'm talking of statesman in Nigeria. Is he a statesman? Let me even give you, do you know Atiku?
Yes.
One of the respect you will give him. He will criticize the government, but our accusation against him is only when it will satisfy his political narrative. But Atiku doesn't come out and say unnecessary things. Do you know what it means to be a statesman? It's not everything with there will be coup, and then soldiers will come and grip him. And Tinubu is not a Nigerian. All those nonsense that he said that time. We don't want people. We are asking younger generation to portray and project statesmanship. As you see me sit down here, there are things I know generally about politics, about policy, national security. Even at gunpoint, I'm not going to talk out. It's statesmanship. Yeah, you have to be able to demonstrate that. And for him now to push it and to say a problem to Islam, he's not an Islamic cleric. It's one of those narratives he wants to push, and they drive an agenda. So I even regret that I respond to him. Because if it's relevant, Peter Obi will carry him. He wants to run now. He wants to run under Labour now.
But so, left Labour anyway.
We don't know. He can create one in the bush and say he's a presidential.
You're not correct.
So the party owned by his brother. Can you see the nepotism?
You say the party owned by his brother.
Yes, now the party that's owned by his brother.
We have to run. See, there are lots of issues we didn't cover, but there's time for us to do that. So another 2 weeks or 3, we'll come back and examine more details. Always a pleasure to have you.
Thank you, sir.
Always a pleasure to have you around.
Anytime.
Thank you.